Thank you, Chris. Next one. Hey, Bradley, as you were the expert for AI SEO content writing, I don't know if I'd say that. I just have used a lot of tools. That's all. What do you think of Neuronwriter? It's on AppSumo right now. I don't have an opinion. I'm sorry. The amount of AI writing assistant tools that are coming onto the market, there's just no way possible that I could keep up with all of them and test all of them, nor do I have the desire to do that. I've got the tools that I use, I like a lot. We use Outranking a lot. That's one of my favorite. I think the best tool right now, period, is On-Page AI, which is a very expensive tool, but it's a very good tool. Well, Outranking is expensive as well. We use Jasper a lot still because Jasper can output content incredibly fast as long as you have a well-developed outline, and that's what we use Outranking for, or I can use On-Page to develop an outline as well. And I also like to use Writer's End, as I mentioned many times before. Writer's End has a phenomenal keyword tool. Really, that's my favorite keyword tool right now is Writer's End because it's got the all-in title function. So it's what they call the golden filter, but it basically does all in title. So you can get the true measure of SEO competition for keywords. You know, we look at search volume and all that kind of stuff in, some of the keyword tools, but none of those show the SEO competition. Like the keyword, Google Ads Keyword Planner shows competitive, competition levels, but that's for bidding. Those are for advertisers. Those are people competing for those keywords, like bidding on those keywords. That's what it means by competition, not SEO competition. A true measure of SEO competition is all in title. And that's part of the reason why I like Writer's End. So I don't have an opinion on Neuronwriter specifically. Like I said, just because there's so many of those tools out there, they all do stuff very similarly. They just have different interfaces. And so I don't have an opinion on that. The ones that I recommend are the ones I just mentioned. Outranking, On-Page, those are my favorites, period, hands down. And as I said before, if you have a tool that develops, or if you manually develop your own kind of outlines, then Jasper is hard to beat as far as just a pure AI writing assistant. It's not really an SEO tool. It's an AI writing assistant. Like if you want something that is integrated with SEO too, then like Outranking is probably the best because it has AI writing assistant built into it. And it keeps all of the output, like the inputs are from the top 20 search results for whatever search query you put in. So if you guys are familiar with like any sort of the page tuning tools or content tuning tools, which means like Surfer SEO or Page Optimizer Pro, et cetera, Outranking, On-Page, they all do something similar in that you put a keyword in and it goes and they scrape the top 20 search results for that particular keyword. And that's what it determines. It gives you averages of number of words, heading tags, entities, if it's integrated with Google's NLP, like On-Pages and Outranking. It'll tell you the average number of entities, et cetera. But, all of those have, they all do something similar in that respect. But why I like using Outranking is because for the AI writing assistant part of it, is something like Jasper. If you put in, give it a command to write, it's just going to, it pulls from its own database of knowledge, right? And it's going to spit stuff out, but you have to constantly direct it and you have to go fact check some of the output, especially if you're talking about something a bit more technical, not general in nature, more specific. If it's, you have to go check the output to make sure that it is indeed accurate, right? It's factual. But something like Outranking, what's really cool about that is when you put the keyword in, it goes and it does the same thing. It scrapes all the 20 results and gives you average numbers of all this stuff. But the GPT-3 integration, so in other words, the AI writing assistant, it only outputs based on the inputs from the top 20 ranked search results for that specific search query. So the data, so what the AI writing assistant outputs, right? The output from the writing assistant should be a lot more accurate because it's only using inputs from the top 20 ranked results for that particular search query. And those we can assume are accurate. And you know what they say about assumptions, right? So I'm just using that as an example. So something like Outranking is, I feel much better if you want kind of an all-in-one tool. Does that make sense? So, Neuronwriter may be good. I don't know. But it's probably, like most of the others, it just has a different interface. So it's probably good. They're all fairly good now. I prefer sticking with stuff that is I know Outranking is expensive. It's got a high monthly subscription fee, but that's part of the reason why it's so good, is because it's got the money behind it, and they continually develop it. The AppSumo deals, most of the time they're going to improve, but sometimes they go belly up and they just pull the plug and you're shit out of luck. I've had that happen a few times, and that really sucks, especially when you integrate it into standard operating procedures for your business operations. And then all of a sudden they stop supporting it, or it goes, they close it down. And I've had that happen. That sucks, because that's a lot of wasted energy and time building processes and everything else. And that's why I feel like if those are kind of a gamble. You're hoping to make an investment in a tool that's going to be continued to be developed. That's the idea. So like, for example, with Outranking, I bought it on a lifetime deal. They don't have that anymore. And I understand almost $200 a month to use a tool like that can be prohibitive for people. But at the same time, that kind of a tool is going to have longevity, right? And it's going to make your job easier and more efficient. You can pump out content that's more accurate, that needs less editing, a lot quicker, more efficiently. So you can make up for the cost by selling more content. Does that make sense? So in my opinion, you're better off going with a more developed tool that has funding, that's more stable. Don't get me wrong. I love AppSumo deals. Again, I consider that playtime. And sometimes we find one that just it's like a home run. You get a tool that just is fantastic. But I don't like to build my entire business around an app that may not be around. And I have done it, but I've also been burned by that. So just be careful.